Hello, everyone. Brady, Charlie here to break down some hashtag BB23. Uh, this episode was pretty expected, but we saw an
Yeah.
HOH at the end of the night that could bring some interesting gameplay this week.
A
So
non-cookout HOH.
so we're hoping that even if you are someone that's rooting for the cookout, I like the cookout. I
Same.
hope that they have success, but I also it does make for boring television until the cookout
It
has to.
doesn't. Yes. The
Yeah,
weekly television is not as interesting when one line
we
steamrolls.
don't want cookout to be literally the final six people left in the game. It's just I don't, because that means it's boring TV until we get to that
And
point. So
and even for Tiffany, like having Kylan and Xavier there, what are you doing? You're not winning with those two in your final six.
agreed.
Sorry.
So as per usual, if you're hopping in the chat, in the YouTube chat, post in, say hi. We'll throw some comments up on the screen, as long as they're school appropriate, as we say. And we'll be sure to read your comments. So anyway, Charlie, what do you think overall of the episode? By the way, for people on the West Coast, remember this is going to be spoilers because the show just ended on the East Coast. So we're about to talk about who got evicted. So if you're waiting, please go away and come back. But we love you anyway. So Charlie, Brittany got evicted. Britini.
Sad day for us all.
The first thing we're gonna jump straight forward. What did you think of the fact that she thought that she was a shoo-in to win the game if she made final two based on her exit interview with Julie?
She had some delusions throughout the game. I mean, I guess if you're nominated every week and you're told certain things, I guess it can ring fire to you a little bit. It was a little bit of a paint by numbers week, I think, for the most part, and like in the sense of we kind of knew since Saturday, Brittany was gone no matter what, because there is no changing the cookout. They're very, very strong.
If you were someone that made it to the end of the game, let's say you were a juror, right? Which one would you rather vote for? Someone that was put up, let's say, 7 times and always found their way through the game and made the final two, or someone that was never put on the block? Which one do you respect more if you're a juror?
You got to respect the not on the block. Yeah, a professional pawn probably will never win the game. Hey, Jacob, welcome. Jacob says Kylan's going to go hard at Sarah to put up Claire. And
really, dude? That's obviously not Jacob. It's Jakob.
And I fully agree. I think in a perfect world, Kylan's going to try and get her to put up Derek X and Claire, because those are the only two actual threats to the cookout right now that are not in the cookout.
Yeah.
Also, if you can see the hat.
Nice.
I like your
Go
logo,
Hawks.
We're on the same. We park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay, my friend.
Park our shuttlecraft. Is that a Star Wars Galaxy?
I don't know
Hero?
what the hell that is. No.
By the way, shout out Florida Mutineers. Tied it up with Optic in the series 1-1. Let's talk about. I mean, there's not really much to say about the eviction itself. It went exactly how it was. The only real storyline is that we got to see just how much of a threat Derek X seems to be to the cookout, how they really want.
Yep.
They want Derek X gone sooner rather than later, because not only do they know that he's a physical threat, but I think they know that if I think, for example, Tiffany knows what a threat Derek X could be if he could get in good with Big D and some other members of the cookout, because he could be a great manipulator as well. So they got a cannon pretty quick if they want him out, right?
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, Jacob is 100% right here in the sense of the HOH we got, even though it's not in the cookout. It is a cookout HOH. Probably the one person out in the cookout that's going to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think during the only interviews that we saw Sarah Beth get in the diary room, she's really the only, and obviously I don't think that she's a horrible person or anything like this, but she's really the only like useless kind of just there person in the house. It feels like everyone else is playing semi-hard to really hard, and Sarah Beth is just kind of there most of the time. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, little does she know she's kind of been an option since like week 3 for people. excuse me, but I don't. Yeah, she's definitely the most quiet in the house, like in terms of game. That has the quietest game. She was on the block last week, but was never ever gonna go home. There was a chance, but wasn't gonna happen. And I think that was the only week that people even noticed she was in the game. Whether she's playing like a super stealth game, that doesn't matter when it comes, to trying to win the game. Kind of got to do something, and now's her chance. I mean, if she stands up there, puts up Tiffany and Hannah, people are going to lose their minds. They're going to be like, holy, where did this come from? She knows that because Tiffany and Hannah are playing great games, but they're kind of stealthy games. Whereas Xavier's kind of got the big game in your face, like, hey, everyone kind of knows he's playing a great game. Then there's Kylan, who no one really likes other than Sarah Beth, so he's fine. And then Big D and Oz are in their own world, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. I literally just got news that one of my friends from high school just passed away today. So,
holy hell!
Sad.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I don't think you knew him. I don't think you knew Ardley. He was a year below me, but we were in men's choir, show choir. We did all the chorus stuff together. So,
damn,
tragic. I don't even know what happened.
Yeah,
he was 29. So rest in peace, Ardley.
Rest in peace.
Anyway, so let's jump forward. Let's talk about the HOH competition itself.
I was really scared for a second that they were going to let everyone watch them do it. Because unfortunately, it bit our guy that we were rooting for here, Derek X. It bit him because if he would have went the right way, there's a chance he gets that. But the whole point of the comp was to kind of trick you into going to the left. And had people seen Claire do it, no one would have went to the left.
Yeah, it's so funny because Claire could have gone a lot faster. Do you agree? I think Claire killed it. I think Claire could have. I think Claire could have crushed it. She could have had 20 seconds if she wanted, but she was the first person to go, and she saw time to beat 40 seconds, and she probably thought
that is one of the worst comps to go first.
31 seconds or whatever she got was a great time, right? That's crazy to me.
As Jacob says, going to be a combination of Hannah, Derek X, and Claire on the block. 100%. Derek X also put Sarah Beth on the block.
Yeah.
I think Kylan's really going to push heavy for Derek X and Claire, and that's going to be kind of the swan song of people not in the cookout. Because once Derek X is gone, I mean, Claire hasn't. We've seen her with her ass on the line, unfortunately, and it didn't go so well. She fell flat on her face last night. So it's hard. It's a hard spot. That's why I think if Tiffany, I'm still rooting for Tiffany, and I'm worried. I understand, her getting to the 6 is very important. It's for bigger impacts, not in the game, but for her game, getting to that 6 with Xavier and Kylan is not where she wants to be.
No, I mean, and it's so easy for us to think about when looking from the outside in, right? Mm-hmm. That
this is never going to happen again.
A lot of people
this is a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah, a lot of people think that they're in a great spot in the house. I think if you polled every single house guest in the house, all of them would think they were in a good spot because all of them have genuine good relationships with people in the house. But you look at that conversation that happened with Derek X and Claire and Hannah and Tiffany. Derek X and Claire they are playing a good game, but it just sometimes you just never know that something's going on.
They weren't able to sniff it out, and even if they were, they were too scared to say something. As Xavier kind of pointed out in the episode, I really like that. I like Xavier a lot, if you can't tell.
Yeah,
and it's just, damn, it
is what it is. And
I had to sniff it out earlier.
Quick shout out to Christian, who was evicted last week. He's been great on Twitter.
Not bitter
as far as he's not shying away from people because people are trying to reply to Christian's comments about the cookout saying, come on, man, call it like it is. Cookout's just a bunch of racists and they sent you home because you're white. And he's like replying to people being like, dude, shut up. I'm not hearing it.
Don't put this crap on my page.
Yeah, just stop it. So I really appreciate how Christian's doing that.
I think in our previous years, Christian would have been like the fan favorite.
Yeah. Agreed.
Hey.
So obviously, if this week becomes a cookout HOH, then this information doesn't really matter. But let's say Sarah Beth figures everything out. Let's say
somehow.
something happens and Sarah Beth figures it out, and a cookout member goes home this
The
week.
DR
right?
straight up tells her. They accidentally leak it.
Accidentally slip it. Yeah. Let's say that actually happens. Hannah should have won this HOH and fell right at the end. She
Yeah.
got all the way to the
No,
end.
Alyssa.
Oh, sorry, not Hannah. Alyssa got all the way to the end and slipped just last second, and she didn't even know if she hit the ground or not. She fell, and she's like, "I don't know. Did I hit the ground?" And she beat the time, and then Julie was like, "Nope. Send it to the control room," and they said you hit the ground. And I was like, "Damn. Okay." So that could have been an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, I think if she won, it would have been Sarah Beth and Kylan on the block, and unfortunately,
I mean,
even if she wanted Kylan out, that wouldn't have been what happened. It's
I stuck my post in Kylan, but that would be a little weird. I stuck the flag on Kylan Mound.
Yes. I mean, hey, good for him. Kylan and Sarah Beth have back to back. I mean, hey, if you're a duo, again, we don't know, how much he values her compared to the cookout. I think he'd still cut her if needed, but
yeah, it's gonna be weird. I mean, Derek X and Claire are gonna figure out the cookout stuff if they stick around. Let's say we see a couple weeks of, who could go home other than those two, obviously, because Sarah Beth is HOH. So who's like someone that could just get sent out this week? That would be kind of
maybe okay. Alyssa. I mean, there's only 4 people not in the cookout. One of them's HOH. So
yeah. So yeah, is it too late at this point for anyone to beat the cookout?
Derek X would have had to won the HOH and put up Kylan and Xavier or Claire, which that was Claire's plan, and it's too late. But I think we just got to experience it for what it is. I mean, it's for something great. It's for something bigger than the game. Davon's speech has been resurfacing online from last year, and
yep.
I mean, look, that's what people are saying. That's the speech that spawned the cookout. So,
ooh, good question by Jacob here. Toss that up. Sorry, Jakob. Good question by Jakob. Do you guys think it's a betrayal that Hannah hasn't told Derek X about the cookout? No. I'm gonna say no. However, if Derek X happens to stick around for the next 2 weeks, we could see, if he is the final person other than cookout members left, we could absolutely see Hannah latch herself to Derek X and try her best to actually, if Hannah is going to win the game, that is a good way to do it, to keep Derek X around just long enough as a vote, skate by while she's the first one to take shots at other cookout members. Because right now, if it gets split 3-3, Derek X could be a huge asset for someone like Hannah.
Derek X is yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, Derek X wins veto and then wins HOH, right? Derek X just goes wild, man, for the next 6 weeks to close out this show.
Just starts pulling a Rachel Riley, winning every veto for the next 4 weeks.
Literally, what Casey from 20 won what? I think the last 4. So
yeah, if you had to pick a cookout winner to win right now, who's played the best game? I know it's hard to separate because the alliance itself has been so good, but who do you think is the rightful winner? Who is the right person to win?
100% would be Tiffany, but it might be she might just be playing too far back. We see this in Canada all the time. The people that played great games, but they sit a little too far back, and Xavier would win, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I could say Hannah too. It's hard. I go back and forth, but Tiffany's been so good.
Derek X wins veto, and the next week he uses coin of destiny to coup d'etat.
The coin of destiny. I can't believe that's an actual thing. Yeah, look, that is kind of what has to happen. That's why CBS put that in. That's why they want Derek X to go home this week. He's going to be the target. It's sad. I really like Derek X, but hey,
he's someone where if we end up seeing some sort of, they bring I think now this season has been great with all new people, but I think we could see another one of those seasons. What was the season they did the 4 coaches and they brought back like James and
are you talking like
or something?
Yeah, Dan and all, and Boogie and Janelle.
They brought back the 4 of them, right?
Mm.
That I think we could see another season like that where we could see a couple people from this year. Derek X, we talked about Christian, talk about even Xavier.
Xavier. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think they're gonna build up a couple years before they bring people back. Now they need to get people used to the diversity in the cast. It's gonna take a couple years. It's not gonna be. It's that's why it feels different.
you know who we need back? We need Paul back.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's bring him
14 and
back.
18. Yep, 18 again. Yep.
Was that
you're
season
right.
4?
What?
Has Paul been on 3 seasons or 2?
2. He was gonna be on last year, but I don't know.
Oh, that's what it was. That's right. Okay. Anyway, not gonna drag on forever and ever, but yeah, I'm excited. Charlie, you excited for some football?
Absolutely.
Oh, speaking of football, Fantasy Football League. Hit me up on Twitter, please, at Visokii Tweets. Charlie, I don't know if you can type in and throw at Visokii Tweets up there. But hit me up on Twitter for the Visokii Gaming League, because as of right now, I think we only got like 4 or 5 people confirmed. I mean, I can find more people, but Charlie and I are already in another league that we do with like a bunch of my friends from college. But I would like to get as many people, me and Charlie and a bunch of you guys that are watching this, either in the live stream or after the fact. Let me know. Even if you've never played fantasy football before, the thing that I like about the Visokii League is I usually do some weird stuff with the settings. What was it? Last year we did like 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
In past years,
just have fun with it. Exactly. It's kind of be everyone's fun league.
Players, stuff like that. It's fun. So let me know if you want to try it. Even if you're like, listen, I got no idea what I'm doing. We're going to do snake draft style, so you don't have to worry about learning about auctions and all those sorts of things. You can do your homework and be like, all right, who are the top 5 running backs? Let me just make sure I take one in the first round, and we'll be good to go. Easy enough.
Easy.
So, anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. Click that little bell so you know when we go live. And till next time, go Mutineers.